My new student dialogue was on social identity and the effect it has on the social economic class. I chose this class honestly because it was the only one that would fit in my schedule. Nothing else would work in there. I didn't want to, skip any class time. Just go in there and knock it out. Honestly, I really didn't expect too much out of this class. However, I did come in with an open mind. I wanted to, take away what I could from it. And I came into it open mind, and it did affect me a little bit, and which I knew it would. Personally, a little bit about me: I'm a upper middle class male that his parents have a strong marriage, I have a strong faith in God, and which has allowed me to live the life I am, and allowed my parents to have a strong marriage. Their strong marriage and characteristics has kind of made me the person I am. It's kind of helped me develop my characteristics of how I go out throughout my life. I've always lived a privileged life, but I've never had things handed to me. I have held a job since I was 16. I'm a lifeguard at the water park in Greenville. I've worked 3 summers there, and before I held that first job, I always did my chores around the house. I would, help my dad outside. Whatever my mom asked me to do inside, I would always help her. Take care of my sister, just typical things a guy would do around the house. When it came to get a vehicle, I had to pay for half of it myself. It was my first truck, and the half that I had to pay for was probably more expensive than most kids' vehicles of my friends that their parents handed down to them, and I'm still paying it off. I've had to work my last 3 summers to pay that off. When I came into class and I was listening to everybody, I kind of, kept to myself a little bit. I kind of, stayed in the back, kind of listened to everybody. I introduced myself to everybody, told them who I was. I met the people around me, kind of started talking to them, figuring out why they came to Clemson, a little bit about their lives and themselves. There are some kids in the class that had to help pay bills. Their parents couldn't afford to put meat on the table. Most of the parents were divorced, and the kids would be working 2 and 3 jobs to help pay for, just to put food on the table. They couldn't, participate in sports or, go out on Friday and Saturday nights with their friends like I was accustomed to doing. Some kids were living on their own at age 17. They had to get their own apartment because their parents either abandoned them or they couldn't, physically take care of them. Some kids were already on government food stamps or EBT cards and were living off the government. But a couple people talked about how they joined the armed forces and how the armed forces paid for their college. If I didn't get enough scholarship or my parents didn't pay for my college, I would have had to done this. I would have done it, proudly. They would pay for my college, and I would have got out and done my 4 or 6 years in the military, to repay my debt. My dad was a Marine. He always, talks about how the Marines changed his life, and he's kind of pushed me in the direction maybe go that route in the future, but not as much as if I went to college, which he would rather me do. This group also talked about the diversity and how it affected each of our lives. I've been affected several times by diversity. I've always, thrived in diverse situations. I got, diverse friends. I've always worked with a wide variety of diverse people in the workplace lifeguarding. And I like meeting new people from different countries, making new friends, all sorts of, just having fun with everybody. We had to take a survey to determine what we think about the most and what we think about the least, and it's called the social identity wheel. And this is the most to least of how I think about it. Number 1 is my able body. I'm happy to have good health. I'm very athletic, like to go play ball, play baseball with all my friends, basketball. Number 2 is my religious views. I'm a strong Christian. It's kind of helped me determine who I am, kind of helped shape my life. Heterosexual, obviously interested in girls. I like to go on dates. Had very good success with girls and have a lot of fun with them. I'm a male guy, plays sports, very competitive. I'm 18, which is your typical college freshman age, and I will turn 19 halfway through my second semester in my freshman year. Upper middle class, I already talked about earlier. It's the privileged life that I live and how it's helped me achieve the things I've achieved and become the person I am. I'm a Caucasian, white. My origin of birth is America, the United States. I've always lived here, lived in the same house my whole life. I'm a proud American. I'm a registered voter. Real strong nationalism. Sense of pride. My ethnicity is German and Native American. I get my tan skin from being Native American, and my blonde hair and blue eyes from being German. I think being Native American has helped me to work for everything that I've done and to become the person I am. I don't take handouts. I have to earn everything I've done. English is my first language. This is the last thing I think about. I don't think about it too much. I have tried to pick up Spanish. I took 3 years of it in high school. I think I can manage in a Spanish-speaking country, but I'm not fluent at all. Well, after doing this, I had to take a step back to think about what makes me who I am, and this social identity wheel was able to put into perspective what I talk about, what I think about every day. At the end, I began to think about how different students at Clemson are. They come from, a wide range of backgrounds. Many people are more privileged than me, and there's also people that are less privileged than me. I kind of, like I said, upper middle half, live a privileged life. But however, all of this brings Clemson students together and unites us as Clemson students. No matter what our background is, we all have a clean slate coming into college. And what we do in these 4 years or however long you're here will make you who you are in your future.